and her second start. Here is the starting lineup for the Ducks, brought to you by St. Pete Clearwater. And it starts with that one returning starter from a year ago, Haley Cruz, and then a lot of new faces. Rachel Sid and April Utek providing some power in the 3 and 4 spots. And Jasmine Sievers, the freshman from Mission Viejo, California, is a name to listen for the rest of the season. She is off to a fantastic start. Underway in Clearwater. At this invitational, which, well, it's called Elite for a reason. There are 11 ranked teams in the 16-team field, and we've got 2 of them for you tonight.
Oh, Beth, right away talking about the Ducks, you know, it's hard to explain it in a minute in the open of this broadcast. It almost may take the entire game to talk about what this program
We're going to break it down.
We are going to break it down. What they have gone through since the coaching change. I mean, and really the transition. Last year, the #1 seed going into Oklahoma City, into the World Series. The expectation so high, the departure of many of the starters, and Missy's, her attitude just to say, hey, you know what? I have 13 athletes. At one point, she had 13 members on the roster. She had to hold an open tryout. It's really an incredible story.
There's the 1-2 to Cruz. Pops it up in foul territory. And calling for it is Abbey Cheek, the third baseman. Power hitter, good with the glove as well. 1 down.
Next batter, number 51, Allie Bunker.
Oregon comes in 7-1. And despite all the changes, the tradition over the last decade that former coach Mike White, who left for Texas, has established is one that Oregon quickly wants to get back to. 5 trips to the World Series in the last 10 years and 5 Pac-12 championships, including being top of the table just a year ago.
And consecutive, I believe. All 5 of those. And which to me is impressive is that you rotate through athletes in this 4-year cycle. So to be able to win that many in a row just shows how many great athletes he was able to recruit and bring into Eugene.
Allie Bunker, the freshman from Huntington Beach. When we talk about the transfers, 4 of them went to Texas and followed their head coach, Mike White. 3 of those players just decided not to play this year, finish out the spring semester and go elsewhere. And of course, Megan Kleist and Miranda Ellish and Maggie Ballant, the entire pitching staff from a season ago. So now the challenge, how quickly can you get those arms up to speed? And how quickly can you get some of these bats with the reaction time necessary to compete against the best in the country?
Well, and the loss of pitchers is where it really can hurt and devastate a team because it's a specialty position. Obviously the same as catching, but when those specialty positions disappear, they are hard to replace.
Good eye by Bunker, full count. Schwarmann throws it hard in the high 60s. In fact, according to the UK folks, it's probably the best velocity they've had in the 12 years that Lawson has been in Lexington. Fly ball out to center. Kowalik has it. 2 down.
Well, and with that velocity, as a pitcher comes the responsibility to move the ball around, mix speeds, because let's face it, in today's game, 43 feet and some really hot bats, 68, 69, 70 miles an hour isn't going to fool you.
What's it take at this level? You may be able to blow smoke first time through the order, but then you better be ready to bring something else after that?
Yeah, if you're consistently at 70, 72 miles an hour and can spot pitches, you're probably going to be okay with that. But if you're anywhere below 70 miles an hour, you definitely have to hit your corners, work on your spins, location.
Schwarmann facing the freshman Rachel Sid out of Tracy, California, a top 10 recruit who chose to stay with the program and is in fact the Pac-12's Freshman of the Week. Had 3 home runs last weekend to open up the season. And it's hard to say she replaces All-America Jen Lilly, but Sid is the one who will take over at third base.
Yeah, when those elite athletes graduate, I don't know that they're ever replaced. The holes are plugged until that next athlete comes in and has all the accolades.
And proves they can do it.
Exactly.
And maybe that's Rachel as the season progresses. Two-1 is in the dirt. Tried to drop the change in. Full count. Ball 4. Holly?
Well, think about the nerves that might be happening for Megan Schwarmann in the circle right now. This is just the second start of her career. This freshman has come in as the hardest thrower of any of their freshmen. As you mentioned, she's got the velo. They said she's a really cool kid. She's a great teammate, but she has that something special, is super motivated to be one of the best. Rachel Lawson already very impressed with her work ethic, but just her second start might be a little nervous out there.
And she's got the head coach over there calling the pitches for her. Lawson does an outstanding job with the arms. Now in her 12th season, she's the winningest coach in Kentucky history. And Schwarmann threw a complete game shutout in her first career start with 9 K and a win over Sam Houston State.
Well, Coach said, she's young, but she's learning quickly. She's learning how to manage the game. Those are all big parts of that process, going from a young pitcher to a more mature pitcher. And Coach Lawson, being a great catcher herself, knows how to call a game, works very well from the backside, I like to say, or the catching side of being a pitching coach.
Facing April Utek, the senior from Richland, Washington, right back up the middle. Couple of base runners with 2 outs for Oregon.
Well, and that's a little bit of the youth in that situation, and opportunity for her to be able to try to sneak a pitch by and not able to. So look at the location. It's just too sweet. It's right over the white part of the plate. Great rotation, elevated slightly, too much on the white. When you make those little adjustments left, right, and down, those are swing and misses instead of blast back up the middle.
Number 5 hitter is Jasmine Severs, swinging a good bat right now. The freshman who missed the first few games of the season. And look at the batting average, hitting 800 with some pop. And 2 teams coming into this game from different directions. Oregon, Jordan Dale threw a no-hitter in a win earlier today. For Kentucky, a walk-off loss to Texas. So they've got to bounce back quickly. Always one of the challenges, right, of playing doubleheaders in softball. Yeah. Only as good as the next pitch, not the last game.
That's exactly right. We talk about it all the time, your ability to focus, play this game 1 pitch at a time. That's the most important pitch, the next pitch coming.
2-1. Just outside the base.
And the coaches really try to teach these young athletes to win every pitch. If you win every pitch, you're going to win the game. And then, obviously, you're not always going to win every pitch, but if you win the majority of the pitches, more than likely you're going to win the game. So you just try to really funnel it down so that the focus is very pinpoint, and you're just thinking about one small task, not like, oh, I got to go throw a shutout.
2-2 to Severs. Called strike 3, and that'll end the inning.
Freshman Schwarmann getting it done. Drop ball in the outside corner. Picks up the big strikeout.
Oregon Ducks and the Kentucky Wildcats here in Clearwater as we move to the bottom of the first. A couple of runners on for Oregon. Couldn't get them in. So now Kentucky will take a turn and face Maddie McGrandle, one of the transfers from Texas A&M, sophomore out of Frisco, Texas, and the lefty appeared in 8 games last year for the Aggies, and now an opportunity for a fresh start in Eugene.
Grandle's going to need to really work the corners and try to spin the ball.
Here's a look at the Cats starting lineup brought to you by St. Pete Clearwater. Abbey Cheek has an opportunity in the next month or so to become their career leader in home runs and runs batted in. Kayla Kowalik. Rachel Lawson told us before the tournament she'd like to see Kowalik in the leadoff. At that point, she was the number 9 hitter, and it took her one game to move her up there. Said, I'm not sure if she's ready.
And we were like, okay, let's count how many games it's going to take. Next game, boom, leadoff.
She has proven ready.
Well, that's a lot of what you see this time of year. Coaches trying to figure out what's that magic formula when they write that lineup.
She went 3 for 3 yesterday in their Hofstra game. They have had 3 run rule games here at the tournament. 1 loss, 2 wins, and then the heartbreaker earlier on a walk-off. And Kowalik draws the leadoff walk here. How about the scout for Maddie?
Well, Maddie's going to really need to work from ahead, period, and she must pitch contact. It's really that simple. Look at the number of walks on the season. She's got 19 walks on the season, just 15 innings pitched. She needs to trust her defense, put the ball in the zone at a place where she induces ground balls. It's really simplifying it, not trying to overwork, overthink. You don't have to pitch strikeouts. It's just about putting the ball in the zone so that your defense can scoop up the ground balls or the pop-ups and make some outs. We used to have a pitching coach that said, throw the ball down on lower part of the zone, make them hit 100 hoppers, 100 hoppers up the middle. There's a good chance the more that ball's on the ground, that the more your defense is going to be able to get in front of it.
I'm sure Kentucky also had that written down on the scouting report. They are making McGrandle try and throw strikes. Here's a 2-0 with 1 free pass already issued. Kowalik will go to second. That is 7 balls on 7 pitches. Going to score that a wild pitch to get Kowalik over to second. And Shea Bowden, the catcher, will come out to try and settle McGrandle down. There's a strike on the corner to Katie Reed.
sometimes for hitters, it's hard when a pitcher throws a lot of balls, really figuring out and staying locked in and knowing which pitch to attack. You have to really think every pitch is going to be a strike until it's not.
Ball 4. And now it won't be the catcher coming out, it will be the head coach coming out.
Well, we talked about earlier, Beth, that that you can recover somewhat when you lose an infielder or outfielder, but pitchers and catchers are such specialty positions that when you lose 3 or 4 pitchers that you thought were going to be on your staff, you can't just make them appear in the middle of the fall. So that's kind of the conundrum right now for Missy Lombardi, is that she does have another arm or two on the staff, but you can't throw them every day.
And you can't pitch Megan Langenfeld, who's sitting right next to her,
she would love
the All-American and national champion at UCLA, who's now on the coaching staff. She's got a great staff with Justin Schultz and volunteer Sierra Romero, former All-American in Michigan. But when you lose those kinds of arms, those kind of names, I mean, it's almost every inning.
Every inning of last year.
Yep.
And that's like Mount Everest, trying to recover from that, climbing up it.
And they're going to keep plugging away and keep fighting. They got a no-hitter from Jordan Dale earlier today. So,
well, and Jordan Dale, I would assume, is the ace of this staff, another left-handed pitcher, sophomore.
She came in from Virginia Tech. Shaper, that's a fair ball. Kowalik around third, headed for home as it goes deep into the corner. Katie Reed will score as well. A 2-run double for Jenny Shaper.
We talked about how hard it can be at times looking for the right strike in order to hit it, and this pitch just lays up on the inside corner and Shaper just attacks it. Her eyes are steady, and when this ball just hooks down the line, you know it's going to be extras all the way around with those 2 walks on base. That puts 2 runs on the board for the Wildcats.
So Lombardi going to the home plate umpire, Naomi Erdahl, and now out to the mound. And there will be a pitching change quickly here to go to Jordan Dale. So the quick pitching change here for the Oregon Ducks after a couple of walks. Jenny Shaper with the 2-run double. So Maddie McGrandle is out and Jordan Dale is in, the sophomore transfer from Virginia Tech. Beat LSU Friday in that stunning upset that Holly Rowe told you about earlier, and then threw the no-hitter, the first of her career against Florida Atlantic earlier today.
Well, she's going to be in the low 60s. She uses a curveball on both sides of the plate. It's really her changeup, her ability to mix speeds and throw hitters off balance. She leads the team in strikeouts. Looking to try to get out of this hole.
And how about a nice hearty welcome from Abbey Cheek, the senior from Inman, South Carolina, who's hitting .429 through the first couple of weeks of the season. And with power that you have to respect. Friday, 7 innings against LSU, held them to 4 hits, struck out 8, and then this morning the no-no with 9 strikeouts. So over the course of a couple of days, we're talking about 270 pitches.
Yeah, that's a high pitch count in the 7-inning game. Ultimately, you'd like to be about 100, 110.
High fly ball from Cheek. 1 down. Mallory Payton, the sophomore out of Madisonville, Kentucky. 3 home runs in their 4 games here, including a grand slam yesterday against Utah. Hit a home run this morning against Texas as well. Got to believe at this point for the Kentucky batters, you know, that sometimes, Smitty, you smell blood in the water and you start swinging for the fences and want to pad your stats. You got to stay disciplined at the plate.
Absolutely. It's all about the discipline in every aspect of this game. Staying down on ground balls, snapping your pitches, and swinging at strikes. And you have a tendency to get antsy, as you said, and start thinking about the fence instead of thinking about squaring up a ball.
Another pop-up and just outside the line foul. Terrific effort by Bunker.
Bunker going to drop step and go back. You can see she's trying to communicate with her teammate a little bit with that look over the shoulder, lays out. Lucky that hit in the foul territory side, but that was a great effort.
One and two to Mallory. Two and two. With Jenny Shaper down at second base after the two-run double, scored Reed and Kowalik, who had both reached with walks. And that precipitated the pitching change. Foul tip.
Nice wiggle on that last pitch, climbing and curving up and in.
Another one fouled back into the screen.
Good battle, eighth pitch coming.
Another 3-2 pitch fouled back.
I like that. Dowell's not afraid to bring that curveball in underneath the hands of the righties. That's a big pitch for lefties. When you can control that inside corner and ride that pitch underneath the hands, it makes a very big difference in your ability to use the entire zone, to expand the entire zone.
Called strike three. Two down. Got another game going on the field right next door to us here. It's James Madison in Tennessee. JMU up 2-0. And then with a runner on, Chelsea Segern down the line and right and gone. And the Lady Vols have tied that up. We will see Tennessee tomorrow in prime time against Florida State on ESPN2. Good Midwestern showdown to start your day on the U tomorrow morning. Notre Dame and Ohio State.
Nice. Florida State has just been lights out here.
They sure have. They already got a win over Oklahoma. They run rule LSU
Just
earlier tonight.
Earlier today, yes.
Today.
Wow. JMU's been playing very well. Megan Good back in the circle for them.
I like those Notre Dame and Ohio State teams. Those are programs that could be sleeping giants, you know, with your ability to recruit student athletes there that, you know, want the full college experience and going to football games and basketball games. And Notre Dame picked to finish second behind Florida State in the ACC this year. 3-0 pitch. 2 on with 2 outs as Martins draws the third walk of the inning. And Missy Lombardi asking Naomi Erdahl why that wasn't a strike. She's working today with Aaron Peterson and Robbie Guest on the bases. This is Lauren Johnson, the 7th hitter to the plate here in the first. Johnson has a couple of hits and a home run so far in this tournament.
Johnson's big 2-run shot earlier in the tournament. Looked like Kentucky was coming out strong, and they've had a tough schedule here. And a couple of tough breaks. In that game earlier today against LSU, a call at first base. It looked like it could have gone either way. Excuse me, Texas. It looked like it could have gone either way. So, you know, it's a game of inches. It's a game of calls, and you have to overcome that adversity and always figure out a way to win.
Oh, 2 just missed. Shaper and Martins aboard. That one outside, 2-2.
Jordan Dolly, we talked about the no-hitter earlier today, so she's already got about 140 pitches in her arm. So important when you're in that second game of the day that you relax, you don't try to overthrow. Her strike zone a little bit expanded right now. She just needs to bring that ball through and cut it.
Got Johnson to reach for the rise. Jordan Dale works out of the jam. A 2-run double for Jenny Shaper in the lead for Kentucky.
Well, one of the things that Melissa Lombardi has done at Oregon is assemble one of the finest staffs. And when I say it's a world-class staff, I say that because most of the players, or coaches on her staff, have played in the Women's College World Series. Think about this. Sierra Romero is just out here hitting you balls before the game, playing bungee with you. And also in the bullpen working with you pregame is Megan Langenfeld, who not only went to the Women's College World Series, but won it. This is a woman who actually had to super glue her finger together to continue to pitch every single throw for UCLA at the World Series. So what a great staff. And don't forget Justin Schultz. He's also Jessica Schultz that was a catcher for Oklahoma. That's her brother.
There you have Romero and Langenfeld right there. Thank you, Holly.
2 young athletes that know how to win and can inspire those student athletes, try to motivate them.
Yeah, the Langenfeld UCLA title in 2010, and then Arizona State won it in 2011. That is the last Pac-12 team to win a national championship. The conference has 23 of them. The reason she had to put glue on her fingers, remember, Smitty, her screwball was ridiculous. It danced all over the place.
It did. It was epic. She would throw it at your toes, at your knees, at your hips, at your eyes. And everybody knew it was coming, and they still couldn't hit it.
It was reminiscent of the Taryn Moa changeup back in 2007 for Arizona. You knew it was it, and if I remember correctly, it was almost all she could muster because of the injury and because of all the pitches she had thrown leading up to that. And it carried her in the Bruins. Nice stab at first by Mallory Payton. Of course, she also did it with her bat, had a couple of big home runs in that World Series.
Helps to go both ways. This pitch on the inside corner, just keeping her hands on that bat and continuing to muscle through that. Bowden laces it down the line, but Payton right where she needs to be over at first base.
2-0 Cats. They've scored first in all 9 of their games this year, and they jump out in front of this one. 4-5 on the season because of that difficult schedule. Hoping it'll get them prepped and ready to go for the SEC. This is Cherish Burks, the number 7 hitter for Oregon. Out to shallow center, and that'll drop in there for a single. Cherish is one of the few returnees. Played 35 games, had 1 start last year, and now will be called upon to play a much bigger role in her senior campaign. This is Hannah Gailey, the first baseman. Freshman from Scappoose, Oregon. She hit 400 last weekend. They went 5-0, but a much tougher schedule this weekend here at the St. Pete Clearwater Elite Invitational. One-two from Schwarmann. Got a piece of the change. Let's check back in with that JMU Tennessee game next door, and it's Kate Gordon.
Talk about Megan Good and how good she is in the circle. Odyssey Alexander as well. But that JMU team has a very good offense.
They hosted a super regional, remember, a few years ago. Lost to LSU after they won the opener of that super regional. So they're a team that could be reckoned with come tournament time. Of course, we are on the road to the Women's College World Series. This is our opening weekend with over 1,200 games coming your way, including Bedlam. We got both the Florida State-Florida games in their Sunshine Series. We'll be roaming around the SEC. Got UCLA, Washington on the schedule. We'll visit the newly renovated Hillenbrand Stadium out at Arizona this year. Big changes. Sitting in the shade now at Florida games down in Gainesville. Lovely. Grounded to Cheek at third. Side retired. A single, one left on. To the bottom of the second we go. Rainwater, Vick, and Kowalik. The Cats coming up. Kentucky. The two-run double from Jenny Shaper in the first inning.
Love seeing all the little kids out here dreaming of someday wearing one of these uniforms, playing on a field like this. Getting their name announced on television.
Oh, yeah, like Sarah Rainwater. 8, 9, and 1 coming up for the Cats.
Might be a member of the all-name team.
Yeah.
Some good names.
It's been a fun group to watch over the last several years. The senior from Nicholasville, Kentucky, hit her first career home run last weekend and has come all the way back from an ACL injury last year. Jordan Dale in the circle came on quickly in relief after just the third batter of the game.
Yeah, and I thought that was an interesting decision because if you're gonna, she's already thrown one game today. If you're gonna use her this early in the game, why not start her? Because now she's in the game pitching, and you're at a 2-run deficit. She picks up the strikeout. Third today. She's been moving the ball really well, but it's always interesting when you want to give other athletes an opportunity in circle. Nice rise ball, has that great elevation, relaxed stride.
Well, and I think too, Michelle, that's what an event like this, it can be beneficial, especially in Oregon's case where I think Missy and her staff are still trying to figure out, okay, what do we have? Who can handle what situations? What do we need to work on? Obviously, the pitching depth is going to be an issue.
Yes.
So let's find out maybe what folks have got against this competition or that. And obviously, Jordan Dale has shown them some things early on.
Yeah, McGrandle, I think that the biggest issue is in the scouting reports why I said she has to just learn to pitch to contact.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Because it was 2 walks.
Yes, exactly.
Got her in the trouble.
You know, at some point, I mean, it's not easy being in that circle. Spent a lot of time there throughout my career, and no matter what level, there's always going to be nerves, but at some point, if you are going to take the responsibility of having that job, you have to figure out a way to get it done. Now, getting it done just means getting outs. It doesn't mean you have to have strikeouts. It doesn't mean you need to dominate. It just means getting outs.
Yep. There's the 2-1 pitch. What's your Smittyism again for the circle? They don't call the circle for nothing because you're the center of attention?
Oh, the center of attention. Yeah, that's one of them. There's
that might not be the actual Smittyism. I may have just butchered that terribly, and I couldn't find a way out of it. So, anyways, we're moving on. 3-1 to count.
Actually, Beth, I've heard Michelle say this so many times. What it is they wouldn't draw a circle around us if we weren't special as pitchers.
Holly Rowe with the save, ladies and gentlemen.
But I just wanted to add one other nugget on Jordan Dell. As you talked about, it's important to get outs. In that upset win over LSU, she pitched all 7 innings in an 8-5 win, but she hit 4 batters and walked 6. So she wasn't perfect, but she did find a way to get outs and get that upset win. I thought that was a good follow-up to what you're talking about right now.
It is, and it's a perfect example that the formula looks very different every single game.
Did she just transform from Ellen to Robin Roberts, the jokester and the information dropper in one fell swoop without missing a beat? That's why they call her Ho-Ro.
And now she's bowing to us. She's like, thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're welcome.
Encore, encore.
0-1 to Kowalik. Vic will take off. The throw down. Got her. Shea Bowden down to Severs applying the tag. 2 out.
Bowden loved the way she was ready behind the dish. Gets the ball down. Love the way that Severs is going to sell it. Look at the way she slaps that tag down.
Oh, just beat her.
Just beat her.
Got her.
But I love the way she slaps that tag down and immediately shows the glove to the umpire.
Sell it, right?
Sell it, baby.
Well done, Bowden to Severs. Inside, 2-2. Dale throwing it in the mid-60s. Another base runner here, the fourth walk, of the game.
Second of the inning, her third.
Fifth walk of the game. Through the first 10 batters to the plate. Up and into Katie Reed, and it got a piece of her.
When we talk about those free passes, whether or not they're walks or hit by pitch, Holly mentioned it as well. She was able to work around those in that big upset victory. But at some point in the season, the scouting report comes out and teams know that your misses are big, non-competitive pitches, pitch count rises, more opportunities to see pitches, more opportunities to beat you.
6 free passes here in the first inning and 2/3. And now you got to deal with the middle of the order, including Shaper, who drove in 2 in the first inning.
So we talk about the fatigue on the pitcher, obviously, when you're throwing a lot of balls, and the catcher. But also the defense, because the defense is constantly, they're up and they're down, and they're up and they're down. And just the rhythm of the game completely changes.
Blocked in the dirt by Bowden. The throw down to third, and sliding in safely is Kowalik. So you got a couple now in scoring position for Kentucky.
Bowden does a good job to pick that wild pitch out of the dirt. Aggressive base running, though, by the Wildcats. So the throw a little bit inside the line in the foul territory side, so a little bit inside, and that long tag.
Boy, it looked like they might have had her blocked with the foot. Bowden thought so. Did not get the call. So now Dale will try and clean it up with the 1-2 pitch to Shaper. I think this might have been blocked by the foot of Sid. Watch, right into the foot.
Yep. Yeah, and I think the tag was down as the foot came in. So Cat's fortunate. This is a big pitch. Got Abbey Cheek on deck. Last thing you want to do is have those bases loaded. And she walks in the box and nowhere to put her.
Kowalik and Reed both reaching with free passes as Cheek hopes that the bases will be loaded for her. Unless Shaper can clear them herself. Count goes full. Three-two pitch, Shaper pops it up and back on the grass. The shortstop, Severs, has it. Two left in scoring position, and it remains a two-run game. 2-0 Kentucky with the lead over Oregon as we move to the top of the third inning. Ducks and Cats on this Saturday evening here in Clearwater at the Eddie C. Moore Field. Big weekend of softball. The second weekend of the season on the road to the Women's College World Series. Of course, you're home right here on the ESPN networks for all the NCAA tournament action, all the regionals, all the supers, and every pitch from every game in Oklahoma City. The defending champs, Florida State, got them and Tennessee in prime time on the Deuce tomorrow night.
Oh man, Florida State has been mashing. Just sending the ball out of the park, and I love it. You talk to Lonnie Alameda, she's like, oh, we're the typical, contact, use our speed. And it's been like a fireworks show here in Clearwater.
They had 5 home runs in their win over Oklahoma. 5 different batters knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, and 7 that day. 7 home runs.
And Holly Rowe helped us find a new star. It's not just postseason Anna.
That's right.
It's now all-season Anna.
All-season Anna.
She's hit 2 here.
Well, Anna Shelnut, we called her postseason Anna last year, and she's been mashing so hard here we started calling her preseason Anna, and she decided she wants to be called all-season Anna. And I think Lonnie Alameda would like that as well if she is on all season.
The consistency. They're number 2 in the country, right behind UCLA. So a base runner here. The walk for Haley Cruz to lead off. So the number 2 hitter, Allie Bunker, now coming up. And after all they have been through, it would really be remarkable for them to get out of here with wins over a couple of ranked opponents. Already the stunner over LSU. But they find themselves down a couple here early.
Well, more than likely their season is going to be a lot like this tournament. There's going to be a lot of ups and there's going to be a lot of downs. And when you have young athletes and a new team with so many of those newcomers that we talked about, 19 players on the roster, 14 are newcomers. When I talked to Missy Lombardi a couple weeks ago, she's like, yeah, Michelle, I had to have a open tryout with 6 walk-ons.
Dropping down the bunt. Cheek will try for the lead runner at second, and they'll get her.
And at this point, it's a bad experience for every athlete that's out there. because even a lot of the returners weren't always on the field last year for the Ducks. Abbey Cheek getting it done. Look at the way this bunt goes down. It's a little bit too hard. Cheek knowing right away how quickly she gets to it. She can turn, throw that down to Martins, and getting some love from the pitcher. I'll tell you, that's one of the most exciting things when you see that bunt go down and your corners crash in and get that lead runner. It takes a lot of pressure off you in the circle.
Cutting across the inside corner to Rachel Sid. 3 home runs on the season and a dozen runs batted in for Rachel. Prep All-American, was a top 10 recruit. Shortstop has it. Katie Reed over to first. Double play. Little glove love for Katie Reed, and the rifle over to first for 2. Back here in Clearwater in a 2-0 lead, Kentucky over Oregon as we move to the bottom of the 3rd. And it will be Abbey Cheek, the number 4 hitter. 4, 5, and 6 coming up. Facing Jordan Dale in the circle, and Cheek gets a hold of one. Back it goes and gone. Solo home run for Cheek. That's her 2nd of the year.
Abbey Cheek, so much power. What a great career for the Wildcats. Closing in on that home run record, pitch on the upper outside corner, and she just goes up and gets it. Cheek is one of those hitters that sees the ball very well off of left-handed pitchers, and as that rise ball, as it's coming in and curving in, she just barrels that up and bashes it the other way. She doesn't try to turn on it. She's going to angle it out of the park the opposite way. That is a great piece of hitting. Is she five away now from?
I think so, yep.
From the school record.
Brittany Cervantes. Caught in foul territory for the first out.
Look at the angle at where the pitch is coming in through the zone. That is perfect contact. Head down, great bat angle where the hands and the angle of the bat. So the hands are leading and the angle of the bat as it's coming through is slightly lagging, and that's what drives that ball the opposite way.
As Alex Martin steps into the box, those are the numbers for Abbey Cheek now. 43 home runs, 156 runs batted in. So, yep, she is 5 shy of tying, 6 from breaking. There's the 1-1 to Martins, who walked in the first. Brittany Cervantes, by the way, is working with the Kentucky staff. She's a grad assistant. Their all-time home run leader for the time being.
And, you know, I think it's great when records are broken. That's why we keep track of them.
There's a laser right up the middle from Martins on a base hit.
And it's something to shoot for the athletes. You know, it's, a lot of people press about it, but you know, it's always fun to see the growth of programs and hitters. And I'm sure that Cervantes will see the record broken by Abbey Cheek and feel good about it because she's on the staff helping one of her players compete and perform.
Now these hitters are starting to get to Dale a little bit. They really weren't able to punish her for the free passes, and now the home run for Cheek and a base hit for Martins Humes. Autumn Humes will be the pinch hitter here for Lauren Johnson in the 7 spot. Got another game going on right next door and also available on your ESPN app. You can watch both at once. JMU looking for its second Power 5 conference win of this tournament. They lead Tennessee 4-2. Maddie Moss there in the circle. Tennessee amongst the favorites in the SEC. Everybody looking up at Florida. The Gators, of course, Kelly Barnhill's back. Amanda Lorenz is back. The addition, possibly the biggest transfer in a season of transfers, Kendall Lindemann, the power hitter from Minnesota, who is now with the Gators. You can catch them early in the SEC season against LSU. That'll be on the networks. 0-2, and that's slashed out to left. Third hit of the inning. There's your SEC snapshot. The Gators 4 straight regular season titles and the big addition of Lindemann. Tennessee trying to get back to the World Series again, and Georgia 7 starters return for them. They've been twice to Oklahoma City in the last 3 years. 10 teams right now in the top 25.
For the Wildcats, number 24, Kennedy Cowden.
Kennedy Cowden is now the pinch runner out at second base.
Wildcats, number 20, McClay Branson.
And now a pinch hitter as well, McClay Branson. So back-to-back pinch hitters here at the bottom of the order, because Lauren Johnson and Sarah Rainwater both were struck out by Dale in their first at-bats. So Rachel Lawson giving somebody else a chance.
It's working out.
I think she realizes, too, Michelle, they've missed a couple of chances in these first 2 innings to bust this thing open. So she really wants to try and jump on Dale right here with the bottom of the order.
Especially in tournaments, you play that doubleheader in a day, you lose a tight game early, you've got to be able to capitalize.
Let's check in with Holly.
Guys, I just saw Missy Lombardi in the Oregon dugout kind of look at Maddie McGrandle, who started this game in the circle. Hey, go warm up. Let's get you ready. So I think we're not going to see Dale too much longer in this game. She's already pitched today. Looks like she's starting to fatigue a little bit.
Thank you, Holly. McGrandle only faced 3 batters in the first inning and then had to be pulled. But the Cats are starting to tee it up a little bit here on Dale. The Cheek home run and back-to-back singles.
Yeah, Dale's velocity is down just a little bit. You can see that curveball now coming in at about 61 miles an hour. Just the location as well.
Cowden able to dive back into the bag. Everybody now, there's a new device that we see. A lot of the SIDs and a lot of the scorekeepers that can track the velocity. I think Holly's got one of those as well. So you can really know instantly what your pitcher is up to now with these new little gadgets they've got.
It's pocket radar, and what it is it's Doppler radar. It's very accurate.
1-1 is fouled off. Couple on here and a 1-2. Back up the middle. And a chance for Kentucky to score a run. The throw to the plate not in time. Cowden is safe. And it's 4-0. Fourth hit of the inning and a couple for pinch hitters. As McClay Branson brings in a run.
Branson gets a pitch on the inside corner. Again, it's that curveball that Dallas trying to get inside, and it's just not getting underneath the hands enough. This one bashed right back up the middle. You gotta love the way that Calden's aggressive from second base, coming all the way around. Kentucky trying to string some hits together, going station to station after the solo shot by Abbey Cheek.
Okay, Rachel Loss, is she going to double down or triple down, I should say? 3 pinch hitters in a row. The first 2 have delivered.
Don't mess with the streak.
And Humes and Branson, so now going to go with Kelsey Henson here in the 9 spot. And still just the 1 out. .375 on the season with a home run. It's a Kentucky team that through the first couple of weeks of the season has shown tremendous power. All 5 of their seniors hit home runs last weekend. Few more here, 1 today for Abbey Cheek, and that one will fall just inside the line. Going to be extras for Henson. 1 run is in as Hume scores, and they'll hold up Branson at third.
Again, it's the curveball, this time to a lefty. It's not running enough, and Henson is just going to drive this down the line. Boy, when you're a coach and you see this ball just land right inside that chalk line, you know that that's going to be extras. It's exciting. Great wheels on the base pass for Kentucky. That that double plates another run for the Wildcats.
And the pinch hitter streak will come to an end at 3 as the top of the order comes around. But how about that 3 for 3 with those pinch hitters?
That's impressive.
For the Cats. Kowalik has reached twice with walks and has scored a run today. That is a feel good for everybody in blue. When you got the depth, you give somebody an opportunity and they deliver for you.
Well, the first pinch hitter was Autumn Humes, who's one of the pitchers on the staff, so it's great that get the pitchers. Maybe you're not throwing the game, but you have an opportunity to swing it, get it started.
Bailey Vick will re-enter and run out at second base. Maddie McGrandle, by the way, has returned to the dugout for Oregon. Let's see what Missy Lombardi is going to do right here. Down 5-0. The 8-run rule not yet in effect, but the 8th run does come to the plate here for Kentucky. Remember, if you're up 8, in this instance through 4.5, that would do it. A lot of coaching, a lot of teaching from Missy Lombardi with this young team. Getting some feedback even from her pitcher. Hey, what are we feeling? What are we doing? What are we thinking?
Well, I'm sure Coach is asking her, first off, are you okay? You know, you've thrown, even before you stepped on the rubber in this game, you threw almost 140 pitches. Sure, some of it too is teaching the defense. All right, there's 1 out. We've got runners in scoring position. Let's tuck in. Anything slow, let's keep them where they're at.
2-0 to Kowalik.
And even just knowing with Kowalik a slapper up in this situation, where are you going? Are you going for the out at first, even though runners are at second and third? Are you looking them back? Are you trying if they break home?
It scoots away from Bowden. There'll be a play at the plate, and they got her. Dale applies the tag to get McClay Branson.
Rachel Lawson a little upset on that. This is a hard wall, hard cement wall with the padding, and it has come back quite a few times to the catchers. Take a look at the way this ball comes right back. Good job sliding on her shin guards, and then the tag actually doing a good job of keeping the body out of the way, getting the glove down, so when the feet slide in, they're sliding into the glove and not the body of the pitcher.
And a walk to Kowalik, so runners on the corners with 2 down. Third walk of the day for Kayla.
Next batter, number 23, Reed.
Got to bring up Katie Reed, a walk and a hit by pitch, and a run scored. They got 2 in the first, 3 here in the third. The 1-0 from Dale.
And again, we talked that location so spot on earlier in the game. You can tell that fatigue just setting in, that curveball just well off the mark to both the righties and the lefties. Jordan Dale, cheeks flushed, pitch count rising on the day. 70, approaching 70 alone in this
Over
relief.
130 earlier today. I think it was 130 yesterday as well. Infield pop up and the scoop catch made by Bunker at second. So a couple left on, but 3 runs in here in the bottom of the third for the Wildcats, including the Cheek bomb.
Abbey Cheek closing in on the school record. This bash puts her just 5 away. Cheek going yard with this solo shot.
I'm in the market for a glove. I'll be buying one today, so I came to Rawlings. What's important when I buy a glove?
So first we're going to start out with what position you play. So something like this would be for a middle infielder. You got 12 inches if you're more of a utility or outfield. We're going to look at quality of leather. So we've got good and best. Here we've got the best, which is our heart of the hide leather. Then you're going to go fit. So these gloves are all fit for a female hand. You're going to have knots that tighten and a loop that loosens. And then you got to go with style. Something like this rose gold or, you know, whatever fits your flair.
I think the ones that fit my flair, all of them.
Hey, Holly Road doing it all. Doing it all here.
I like the way she was running away with those guys. Like she was going to run into the outfield and work it out. I love how she got the lesson on how, you know, the size of the glove. You want an 11 or a 12-inch glove. Outfielder's a little
A
longer.
lot going on.
Yeah.
She even found out, I think, about glove butter. Infield pop-up here in the top of the fourth for Oregon, and I think Holly is ready to take us even a deeper dive into this weekend. Holly?
Well, I do have the glove care. I did learn that there are ways you can break these in that are bad, and one of them is do not put it in the microwave, do not put shaving cream, don't get it wet. You want to treat the leather with care, and in fact, right here, the inside where your hand goes where you get sweaty, you want to put a little glove butter right in there and keep that leather nice and supple. It's going to be ready to go. Give me a couple of days. I'll be ready.
You know the best way to break in a glove? You give it to a catcher and you let the pitchers throw to it.
Oh.
Used to have it all the time when I'd be throwing. Kids get new gloves, they'd give it to the catcher and they'd catch with it for a couple workouts and it'd be spot on broken in. Because most of your best gloves are made with a really tough leather because you don't want it turning into a pancake in a half a year.
I still remember the big, fat, thick Band-Aids. Put the ball in there, wrap those, or not the Band-Aids, rubber bands, and then slide it between the mattresses at night when you went to bed. Take it out the next morning because you're ready to play. Let's go.
It's the difference between a softball player and Cinderella. Is it Cinderella who can fill a pea underneath her? Is that the? I don't even know the right.
I think you just went beanstalk.
I went beanstalk.
Went in a whole other direction.
Well, I'm just saying, softball players, we sleep on our gloves and we're like, oh, that's so comfortable.
Here's the 1-2 to Severs. Struck out looking at a drop ball in the first. Been a good outing so far for Megan Schwarmann. Couple of free passes, couple of singles, but no major danger as of yet. Here's the 1-2.
Yeah, she's got the goose eggs up on the board. I mean, as a freshman, that's all you can ask for. Last inning, she had a 1-2-3 inning with the help of her defense. She walked the leadoff batter, but nice double play. Help her get out of it.
The strikeout there, 2 down. Using the drop for her third.
That's what Coach talked about. She's young, she's got that rise ball, but she also has a drop ball. And look at the way she's going to get over top of this pitch, that downward rotation, but the location of it as well. She puts it right there in the river. It's excellent, especially for the count, exactly where you want to be.
Her pitching staff already has a shutout in this tournament. Larissa Spellman getting it done against Hofstra yesterday. And look at the efficiency for Megan. 25 in that first, and then down into single digits here the last couple. Fly ball out to left. Vick got a beat on it. 3 up and 3 down. 5-0 Cats. Holly's going to chat with Rachel Lawson. I don't know if Holly will keep the glove on. We'll find out with America when we return. And a gorgeous look at some of the beaches of the Bay Area. Looks like the Courtney Campbell off in the distance.
Welcome back to the St. Pete Clearwater Elite Invitational, presented by Wilson, here with head coach of the Kentucky Wildcats, Rachel Lawson. And this is just the second start for young freshman in the circle. How do you think she's doing out there, Megan Schwarmann?
Oh, I think she's doing great. She's mixing her pitches. You know, this is tough. They're taking a lot of pitches, so she's going to have to command the zone, and she's done a really good job with that. So overall, very pleased with her performance.
Are you the queen of the pinch hitters? What happened there at the bottom of that last inning?
I don't know. Sometimes I just get lucky. I have a hunch and I go with it, but I don't know if I'm the queen, that's for sure.
What were you feeling there that you gave those kids a chance?
Well, in some cases I was a righty-lefty matchup, but in others, Kelsey Henson has just done such a good job for us this year in that role that I thought that she could come up big here.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Holly and Rachel. That last inning, after the home run ball from Abbey Cheek, it was the 3 pinch hitters in the 7, 8, and 9 spots. It came through with base hits that got a couple more runs home. So,
I love it because Lauren Johnson's a lefty, so she puts Autumn Humes in, gives her an at-bat. Same thing with Bailey Vick, a lefty. Put Henson in. She comes up with that big double. I mean, as a coach, you're elated when you bring someone off the bench, even if like one time that happens, you're like, whoo, that's awesome. And then
let it ride.
Exactly, keep it going. It's like being at the craps table and letting it ride, or whatever it is. I don't really play craps, but you know, whatever they say.
It is like that.
It is like, okay.
Shaper here, 3, 4, and 5 coming up. Keep in mind, if the Cats can put up 3 more runs, the 8-run rule would be in effect, and essentially give the Ducks one final at-bat. Jordan Dale will try and prevent that. She is showing some moxie and a lot of heart but no hitter earlier today. A win over LSU the other day, throwing a ton of pitches. And really the first dive for the Ducks into big-time competition, back-to-back with the rest of the Power Fives and ranked opponents. And they've come out okay so far.
And that's where they're going to live in the Pac-12. I mean, the Pac-12 is going to be obviously competitive. We've got UCLA and Washington will be at the top, in my opinion. In fact, I'll go out on that limb where the fruit is that we talk about all the time.
Little
Beth.
Mark Twain.
I think that UCLA has a great chance to win it all this year.
Here's the nice thing, though, about, we've evolved into a 3-game series over the weekend. So if you do have one good pitcher, say a Jordan Dale, Missy Lombardi and Oregon, hey, let's take our chances with her on a Friday night and then bring her back on a Sunday if need be. Some teams will opt to throw their ace on Saturday against an opponent's number 2 pitcher.
Right.
Say, hey, maybe we can steal one Saturday and then take our chances Sunday.
So then that begs the question, does she start her on a Friday, or does she start her Saturday, Sunday, or does she start her Friday, Saturday? Yeah, those are all going to be situational coaching decisions that as the season progresses and she learns her team, she'll figure out where she wants to use those arms.
Takaya Gar-Carter is the pinch runner. Abbey Cheek, who in her last at-bat hit a solo home run, now has a friend aboard. Five home runs away from tying the career school record. And count now 1-1.
It'll be interesting to see where they throw her that pitch on the inside corner. She bashed out opposite.
Reached for that. Scrambling at third as Sid couldn't come up with it. 2 on with nobody out.
And that's a good pitch by Dow, just unable to make the defensive play. So the curveball on the inside corner got hit for a home run. Last at bat, what do? They come in with an off-speed pitch on the inside corner. And unfortunately, Rachel Sid, as she comes in, just unable to pick that.
Holly?
Hey, I've got my pocket radar going, and Dale's velocity has stayed pretty steady, 61, 62 miles per hour, but that last off-speed was at 50 miles per hour, so quite a change of speed there for her against Abbey Cheek. Very smart.
Blocked down in the dirt. Gar-Carter is going to be able to get to third. Cheek will have to stay at first. Score that a wild pitch.
Another off-speed pitch, but this one on the outside corner.
When Abbey got caught a little flat-footed over at first base, did not drift towards second to see where the throw was going to go, and as a result does not get the extra 60 feet. Peyton's 0 for 2 with a strikeout.
You bring up a good point, Beth. As a base runner, when you're on behind that lead runner, you've got to follow them. And if they're advancing 60 feet, 99% of the time, the defense is going to go after the lead runner. You almost can walk to your next bag.
You're almost on a string, aren't you? You got, okay,
Yep.
she's going, I'm going.
Exactly.
There's a rope. That'll be extra bases. Cheek motoring around third, and they're going to hold her there. And the run scores for Kentucky. And it's 6-0. RBI double for Peyton.
Mallory Peyton has just been on fire. Her 9th RBI of this tournament on a pitch that's located right over the white part of the plate. Supposed to be on the outside corner. It bleeds or leaks back into the zone, and she just peppers it. Gar-Carter easily going to score from third, and love the way that Abbey Cheek making sure she gets all the way to third on that ball to the fence.
Second double of the season for Peyton. So 2 runs in the first, 3 more in the third, and now 1 more up in the fourth. And with nobody out, you've got 2 in scoring position. Alex Martins, a single and a walk. She scored a run.
Fifth game of the tournament, and Martin's already Mallory Payton, 9 RBIs. And again, I think the lineup we're seeing from Kentucky, we talked about it earlier, little bit of changes. I think it's going to continue to evolve. I don't think this is the final order that we're going to see Coach Rachel Lawson write. Still some adjustments, trying to figure out those nuances, who protects who leads who.
Last year was the first time in 8 seasons that there was not an SEC team in the championship series. But the SEC looking to be pretty strong and pretty deep again this year. All 13 teams in the league went to the postseason last year. Missouri may not be able to go this year. They're appealing an NCAA sanction. And Martins walks to load them up. And we may have a pitching change right here. It was an awfully good run for Jordan Dale. Maybe coming to an end. Terrific effort from her. And it looks like they're going to go back to Maddie McGrandle. The starter will re-enter. And look at Jordan Dale helping out her teammate right here. Trying to give her some confidence. While they make the pitching change, let's spend a little more time with Holly Rowe, who was out at the vendor village here at the tournament.
The Jugs folks are helping us with our pitching, pitch recognition, and vision training. What's this?
This is our changeup machine, and it can go from fastball to changeup on the flip of a button. And the hitter has no idea the changeup's coming.
Great way to train. Tell us about this small gadget.
This is our small ball machine. It's great for vision training. It throws 2 different fastballs and 2 different drop balls, and the hitter is about 20 feet apart, so in a small area.
All right, tell us about this great net.
This is a backyard bullpen. So individual pockets, so the pitcher can throw to different locations. We also put the count on the ball. So here's 3 balls and 1 strike, and we give you 2 spots where to throw it. We also give you some changeup balls. We want the pitcher to locate it down. Plus, they got to change speeds because they get to see it visually with the radar cube.
Lots of good training help from Jugs.
I love their training gear. They have a lot of great opportunities for stuff that you can go out and practice on your own with that backyard package. You don't need a catcher. You just go out there, you pick up the ball, you work on hitting your spots. But that changeup machine is a big one because a lot of times what coaches would do in the past is they put 2 machines close to each other. One would be set at 65, the other one would be set at 55. But as an athlete, you can always kind of tell which chute it's going into. That one you can't tell what the speed's coming at.
All right, so here we go for Kentucky with the bases loaded. Autumn Humes got the pinch hit in the 3rd inning, staying in the lineup. Ended up coming around to score. If they can get 2 runs up, the run rule would be in effect for Oregon in the top of the 5th inning. And a chance to end this early. That will drift foul outside the fence. McGrandle faced 3 batters back in the first inning, a couple of walks, and a 2-run double allowed, and they quickly went to Jordan Dale. Infield is in. They'll make the play to the plate for an out. 2 down.
Talk about the ground balls. That's exactly what, if you're an Oregon Duck, you want to do. Bases loaded, pulled in defense. Just keep playing pickle. That's what you hope for.
Sarah Rainwater fouls it back. Sarah struck out on a rise ball back in the second inning. Has 1 hit on the season, trying to break out of a funk to start the new year. After returning from an ACL injury last season. That 1 hit, by the way, a home run last weekend. Well, Maddie's doing just what you wanted, Smitty. She's throwing strikes, keeping it low in the zone.
It's exactly what you want to do, and I mean, to me, that needs to be your game plan, no matter if the base is loaded or not.
Missed that one away, 1-2.
Starts out 0-2 now, back even at 2-2. This is where you can't tighten up. You just got to keep doing what you're doing. Think ground ball outs. Ball on the corner.
Same spot, 3-2.
Well, and that's where she's really struggling, on that outside corner. You know, a lot of pitchers like to throw to that arm side of the plate. But if you don't get your hips out of the way, your arm bumps off your hip, you're always going to have control issues and miss low and outside.
Rainwater may have helped her out right there.
Yeah.
Golfs it foul.
And that's the importance as a hitter when you're up there. You've got to know pitchers that are struggling, unless that ball is sweet, and granted 3-2 a lot of times you're protecting, but you got to make sure you're swinging at strikes.
Base hit. 1 run is in, and here comes another. 8-0 Kentucky. The 2-run single for Rainwater.
Rainwater on this full count knows that pitch is going to be pretty decent. Comes back off on the inside. After a couple pitches outside, she just turns on it and bashes it past Severs, the shortstop, who's pulled in. Bases loaded, so Kentucky now in that 8-run territory. That 2-run single.
So they're up 8. They need to be up 8 through 4.5. So 1 more at bat for Oregon to try and extend the game. And Kentucky with a chance to add even more. The pinch hitter here will be Olivia Ward. Freshman out of Winfield, Missouri, with 1 out and 2 on. Snap throw down to first, and that will allow the runner to move over to third. Heads up base running. Or are they going to say they got her out at first?
I'm not sure what happened, because originally she looked like she was safe. She may have taken her foot off of the bag, potentially. Sometimes it's so easy to step off the bag and they just come back and pop you with the tag. So you can see she gets back in. I think right here she kind of loses it. She doesn't realize she's off the bag.
Oh, yeah.
I always say the ball controls the game. You always have to know where the ball is, and she didn't. You could clearly see she was looking. She thought maybe that the throw went over to third because her teammate advanced. So for the Ducks, they actually threw behind the runner at second.
They get the out, but Humes is at third.
Exactly.
2-2 the count to Olivia Ward. Ward got over the top of that, and out in center, Haley Cruz tracks it down. Side retired, last chance with the run rule in effect. The bottom of the order coming up for Oregon.
St. Pete Clearwater Elite Invitational, presented by Wilson, is brought to you by Visit St. Pete Clearwater, home to America's best beaches.
Welcome back to the 2019 St. Pete Clearwater Elite Invitational, presented by Wilson. Skyline off in the distance. We are at Eddie C. Moore Field here in Clearwater. Megan Schwarmann, the Kentucky pitcher, our defensive MVP, brought to you by Wilson. 4 innings of work, and right now working on a 2-hit shutout, Smitty.
The hardest thrower on the staff. She'll use a drop ball, a rise ball. She locates it well. She's used both sides of the plate. The freshman, she's been dealing. This is an impressive outing.
Run rule in effect here, so 3 outs to work with for Oregon to try and get on the board, or this one's over early. Burks, Gailey, and Wagner, bottom of the order, due up. Burks has one of those 2 hits, a single in the second. April Utek the other, a single back in the first inning. Unit the knees, 1-1. Out into center, and that's going to drop. Second hit for Burks.
Rainwater out in center field now. She had been in left field. Kayla Kowalik, who was in center, is now in left field. So Rainwater taken off after this pitch, low and outside, just bashed the other way by Burks. Rainwater is going to go out and try and lay out for this really good job of backing up by Abernathy, making sure that ball doesn't get to the fence.
This is Hannah Gailey. Struck out in the second inning. Fouls it off. Holly?
It's like the lineup is going to be a little different. This outfield may be a little different by the time we hit regular season games with the SEC for Kentucky. Rachel Lawson told us that Kayla Kowalik has not really ever played in the outfield, but she's a catcher by trade. They wanted her bat in the lineup, so they're trying to find a place for her. They're like, hey, she's pretty athletic. We saw her make a nice catch out in center field. Now they've moved her to left field, so they're really trying out some new faces out there to get the best people on the field and in the lineup for Kentucky.
Thank you, Holly. Burks moves over to second. So a chance for the Ducks to avoid the run rule here. If they score at least a run, that would force Kentucky into another at-bat.
A little pressure here on Megan Schwarmann, even with the 8-run lead. It's good to put her in a situation here, feel like, all right, this is the gravity of the final inning. Could it be the final inning of the game? And trying to hold that runner at second base. And, you know, that's what needs to be communicated from the upperclassmen to the lowerclassmen. Like, look, right here, right now, we have to close the door. And on the flip side, if you're the Ducks, you're saying, hey, we need to extend this game. We need to punch this run across.
Struck her out. One down. How about the offensive MVP brought to you by Wilson? And how about the 3 pinch hitters back to back to back to produce a couple of runs in that 3rd inning? The offensive MVPs for Kentucky presented by Wilson. They got a chance and they delivered. Burks to 3rd. Wild pitch.
A couple of those in this inning. Sherman, body language, you can tell she's a little antsy out there in the circle. Fidgety freshman.
Lexi Wagner takes a strike.
You know, that's part of learning to pitch. It's that presence on the pitching rubber. You know, what do you look like? What are you showing your opponent?
1-1 upstairs. 2-1. With Burks at 3rd. Two and two.
Nice pitch on the inside corner to even the count. Great setup low and on the inside corner to pull it back even at 2-2, and then the rise ball. Look at the rotation, gets right at the eyes and over the hands. Excellent location.
Haley Cruz, a pop-up and a walk to try and extend the game. And that will flare, fair, and drop in, and the Ducks get on the board. A single, a couple of wild pitches, and the RBI for Cruz to keep the Ducks alive.
Pitch on the inside corner, it's just elevated too much. Look at the location and the height of this pitch. It's right at the belt. Move that pitch down about 6 inches and it's gonna fool the hitter, but Cruz able to barrel that up and dump it in on the grass, so the Ducks able to extend this inning.
Allie Bunker, 0 for 2 today. Base hit through the left side.
3 hits on the inning now given up by Schwarmann. Couple of wild pitches.
Rachel Sid has got some pop in that bat. 3 home runs on the season. Here's the 1-0 to Rachel. And another hit. That'll score another run for the Ducks and maybe more. A 2-run double for Rachel Sid. And Oregon showing some fight here in the 5th.
Wow, this is exactly what you want from your team. Missy Lombardi, I'm sure, talking to them and saying, look, we need to battle and we need to extend this game right now. The Ducks come out and they live up to that challenge. It's a curveball in the outside corner that doesn't get out and it doesn't get down, and because of that it gets whacked into the gap. Big 2-run double by Rachel Sid.
And that will be all for Schwarmann. The pitching change for Kentucky. They will bring in Autumn Humes with 2 outs here in the 5th. And while they're making the pitching change, we've got an update from the James Madison and Tennessee matchup right next door. And what a day for Kate Gordon. This is an inside the park home run for Kate. And that was only just the beginning.
Pitch on the inside corner that she takes out to left, and then another elevated pitch she takes out to left center.
3 home runs in the game and a 6-2 lead over Tennessee. They are in the bottom of the 6th. That one's on your ESPN app.
JMU can swing it. You know, 3 home runs in a game. A lot of times you're hoping you can hit maybe 3 in a tournament.
I wanted to do it against an SEC pitcher.
Yeah, a couple of them.
Autumn Humes is the new pitcher for Kentucky. That ESPN app, by the way, still to come tonight. You can watch Florida State and Minnesota. And you can also see Notre Dame and Cal. Those games are still to come on your ESPN app. If you don't have it, make that call and get it pronto, because there'll be more tomorrow. Final day of the tournament tomorrow.
These games tonight, big ACC Big Ten showdowns.
So Humes will try and end the threat here. As Oregon, down to its final out, have put up a 3 spot and can cut the deficit in half here in the inning with a base hit, perhaps. Allie Shipman is the batter in that Tennessee game. Recognize the Shipman game, her older sister Maddie. Got a hold of that one. It'll stay in the yard, though. So JMU has control of that one in the 6th inning. Oregon trying to grab it out of the grasp of Kentucky right here. Back up the middle, base hit. Waving around Sid. The throw is in time at the plate, and they got her. The throw from Rainwater and the tag by Shaper.
Rainwater charging in. Great do or die. Scoops it up. The throw into Shaper, the tag. And the Wildcats getting out of it.
Welcome back to the St. Pete Clearwater Elite Invitational presented by Wilson. I am here with the Oregon Ducks head coach, Missy Lombardi. And Coach, you're one out away from getting run ruled, and then some fight in these Oregon Ducks. What did they put together there?
That's what I was waiting to see. It took us too long to get to that point. That's what these guys have been doing all weekend, and we took too many innings.
But it was good to see it when you did see it. And how do you close out with your pitcher now? You've had a couple of changes there.
Same thing. I just want to see her fight. Saw our offense answer, so now let's see what she can do.
All right, thank you.
All right, thanks.
Coaches talk about that all the time. When your offense puts some runs up on the board as a pitcher, it's your responsibility to go out there and shut down your opponent. Work from ahead, throw the 100 hoppers.
Yeah. It started with McGrandle. She got pulled early. Jordan Dale came in, and now back to McGrandle.
Leading up for the Wildcats, number 99, Caitlin Wall.
She'll face the top of the order. Kowalik, Reed, and Shaper coming up. Kowalik, 3 walks and a run scored. Trying for a 4th walk today. 9 runs on the season, leads this Kentucky team. And scoring well early in the year. So 4 walks in 4 appearances.
Well, it's impressive. She has a .435 batting average, but those 4 walks, you know, that leadoff position, we love to talk about your on-base percentage, your ability basically to get there. It doesn't matter how you get there, but just get there.
Katie Reed, a walk, a hit by pitch, and then a pop-up. And the issue for McGrandle in that short first inning was too many balls.
It's going to be a long season. She's going to have to figure that out. That's called bullpen time. It's called confidence. It's called figuring out one pitch that you can throw consistently that's going to induce ground balls or pop-ups that your defense can play.
Uncontested down to second goes Kowalik. Saturday Showcase presented by 5 Hour Energy is coming up at 6:04 Eastern. For those of you looking for the Temple, South Florida basketball game, it'll start on the ESPN app until we are finished here in Clearwater. If Kentucky can score 3 runs, they can end the game early. There's a high fly ball, back it goes, and it's out of here. 2-run home run, Katie Reed.
Katie Reed, knowing that she has the opportunity to jump on a pitch. 2018 SEC Academic Softball Player of the Year. Very cerebral, loves to think the game and knows a good pitch is coming. This pitch located up and away. Gets those hands extended. Look at the drive, the pop. Put that one over our cameraman.
Deep.
It was long
Way
gone.
out of here.
220-foot fence here in Clearwater.
Second of the year for Reed. They have 8 different Wildcats that have hit home runs through their first 10 games of the season. And a pair of home runs in this one here with Reed and Abbey Cheek. As Jenny Shaper steps in a 10-3 game. And now 1 run away from the 8-run rule, with Abbey Cheek on deck. That's in for a strike, 3-1.
Well, Rachel Lawson has to be pleased with seeing that even though they gave up that 3 spot in the last inning and the Ducks extended this game, her team comes right back, puts a couple runs up on the board, is now in a situation to possibly end it.
That will fall just foul outside the right field line. Two and 2 so far in this tournament. Looking to get to 3-2 and another game tomorrow against James Madison. And there's a flare out to right center, and Shaper gonna leg it out, going for second, and a stand-up double. And there's your game-winning run in scoring position.
Jenny Shaper is just getting a pitch on the inside corner. It looks like it's a flare. It looks like it might be just a single, but you know what? She's running immediately out of the box. She sees that it's in the gap, and she thinks, hey, I know I can get to second base on this. No hesitation, right around. Jenny Shaper getting herself into scoring position for that opportunity to possibly end this game with Abbey Cheek coming to hit.
1 for 3 with a solo home run in the third. Here's the sweet swing.
Abbey Cheek, pitch on the outside, goes and gets it. Just bashes it out the opposite way. 5 home runs away from setting a school record.
Walked in the dirt, Shaper to third. Winning run 60 feet away for Kentucky. Cheek tried to check.
Even her checks come back hard. That was like, wow, that was an impressive check.
Even her checks sound different. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Abbey. Off speed is high, 2-2. Got Florida State coming up on this field next on your ESPN app. They take on Minnesota. Also on the app tonight, Notre Dame and OH Iowa. Action starts tomorrow morning on ESPNU. Excuse me, that's the game tomorrow morning. And a big strikeout of Cheek right there.
Cheek trying to go yard, just taking some big cuts. Chasing a couple pitch high in the zone, and then this one way out of the zone.
Got a little greedy on that swing. Let's see if Mallory Payton can finish this off for Kentucky. McGrandle throwing some strikes now.
McGrandle looks good when she just gets the ball back and pitches it. When she doesn't have to think a long time, she's just working and working. She works better when she works quick.
Well done by Bowden to prevent that one from letting the game winner in. Payton gets a hold of one. Mallory Payton ends it with the walk-off home run and a run rule win for Kentucky.
Mallory Payton with a big RBI double, her last at bat, coming right back here in the next inning and takes a rise ball up in the